Welcome back to Thionite Plays Xenoblade Chronicles 3. On the last episode, we made it here to the Eternal Prison, where we came face to face with N. One final time, we fought beneath the imprisoned queen, and as you can see by the fact that Melia is no longer imprisoned, we were successful. We freed the queen, we gave peace to N, and we are moving on. We need to continue down, further and further, as Melia said, to Origin's nucleus, where Zed awaits. And to accomplish this, we will continue forward. And to do that, we need to press the big green button. Man, I do love to press big green buttons and open all of these doors, because you need no less than 4 giant metal doors to contain Melia. If you had anything less than 4 doors in either direction, she would instantaneously burst free and teleport away into motes of light. Because this is Melia Antiqua we're talking about. If anyone is able to instantaneously teleport through the ether, it's going to be her. After everything that she's been through, there's no doubt about that. More buttons, press more buttons.
We wait.
Now we wait indeed. Anyway, I will say, a lot. Okay, hold on.
Isn't this crazy, Mimi?
So crazy.
Too true, Sana. Just a few months ago, it'd have been unimaginable.
I imagine all of this would have been. It's like, can you imagine a few months ago, both in the game and in real life, where we would have been, here? That's what's unimaginable. Anyway, as I was saying, there's a lot to talk about in regards to that final, confrontation with N. Like the fight and everything that was said. There's a lot to talk about. And I suppose right now is a relatively decent time to talk about, like, my plans for some specific thing that's happening after the series is done. Because it's always been an idea of mine, I will say. It's going to happen. Whether or not it happens anytime soon is debatable. But the plan for the future of the series, when everything is all said and done, when the main story is done, when all the bonus episodes are done, when Futures Redeemed is all said and done, is I want to make a really long video, like a comprehensive analysis of the story and everything revolving around everything about Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And that is going to happen. It is going to happen. I've technically started the script for that because it's going to be, a really intensive, like, thorough video recapping and analyzing everything about this. So I'm going to save most of my, like, articulate and refined thoughts for that video. But for right here and now, that fight against N was, I think, one of my favorite fights and, bits of storytelling of this entire game. Mainly and almost entirely because they didn't treat N like a villain. Leave me alone, Eruno Vokokoku. I want to talk to my audience about the fight. They didn't treat N like he was just, a Moebius lackey through and through. Like, they wasn't treating him as if he was like a hopeless case where he's like, I yearn for destruction and nothing but destruction. They treated him as if he was just like, oh, you are still after me, aren't you? You can't get me. They treated him as if he was just like a real person who lost his way. And I think making your villains, there's so many monsters. Making your villains or your anti-heroes or whatever whatever N could classify as like a sympathetic fallen hero is just way more compelling to me personally than anything else. Because, like, you can very easily tell that N's whole motivation, everything he fought for, everything he did, was purely and entirely because he loved Mio. Like, having everything he did be because of love, I think is probably a really compelling motivation for a character like N. Because you can sympathize with it immensely. Not least of which because Noah and N, they're one and the same, Like, they're the same character. One represents hope, one represents sorrow and anguish. Like, all of the despair, like edge to bleeding edge, to quote N. Just sorrow and despair throughout the entire world. Once Mio died, that was all he saw the world to be. And like it's such a strong motivation for him, because he sacrificed everything he built. Like all, it's like, again, I have not done anything about Futures Redeemed, so this is literally the perspective of someone who is only speaking with the knowledge of the base vanilla game. Everything he built, like, he was an integral part, I think. I'm 99% certain, because, like, he himself said, it's like, those lives wouldn't have existed without him. All of the lives in the city, I have a feeling he was, like, an extremely integral part to, like, the creation of the city. And, like, all of those lives. Because we know that. He had a child with Mio, and, like, I have a feeling that that child is important to, you know, like, the history and the lore of the city. But, again, I have no idea about Futures Connected, so we'll see about that in the future. But he sacrificed all of that. He killed the people of the city. He destroyed the original city. He accepted, you know, Moebius's design, Zed's design for the Endless Now, all because he loved Mio so much. He loved her so much that he would sacrifice everything. And I think that's the most tragic part about about N's characterization, because he was forced to choose, like, his purpose in the world, fighting against Moebius, freeing the world. He was an Ouroboros, after all. Noah said that. It doesn't seem to be working. Oh, that's unfortunate. But he was an Ouroboros. His purpose in the world was to fight against Moebius. And then Moebius gave him an impossible choice in fighting, you know, fight against Moebius, which was his purpose, or, you know, sacrifice Mio. So he had to make an impossible choice between the woman he loved and his purpose in the world. And I think there is so much that I want to say about N and his characterization throughout this entire adventure. And again, like I said, in that thorough, comprehensive analysis, I'm going to be talking at length. Oh my god, that's level 86. They are jumping ahead in level. We're not talking about guests of... Oh god, they're terrifying. Let's just scooch back around them so I don't have to fight them. Yeah, this is the area where they have many of them all around each other, like sentry artifices where you could fight them all at once if you wanted to. It's a stupid decision. I don't recommend it. But most of my in-depth, like, properly articulated thoughts on N are going to be saved for that analysis, which will come out eventually in the future, but it's going to be a big one, so not anytime soon, unfortunately. But that will happen. Man, there is so much to say. Like, I really think N is one of my favorite characters in this entire game, just because I love his characterization and his story so much. And it's not even, like, his ending as well. It's like, he didn't, you know, die for Moebius. He didn't, you know, like, sacrifice, like, some kind of suicide play to defeat us. Like, he wouldn't die for N. At the very end there, he chose a better path. He chose to walk, you know, the path that he was meant to fight Origin. He chose to combine, you know, with Noah, give everything to Noah. You saw, like, his eyes, Noah's eyes reflected, like, the Moebius Ouroboros pair that, you know, Mio had, because she was entrusted the hope and the future of M. So, like, now the same thing has occurred with N and Noah. They have successfully, like, put aside their differences. They reached an understanding, shall we say. And, you know, that's just, it's awesome to me on, like, a story level to have a character that had to make an impossible choice between, you know, his purpose in life, his reason for fighting, and his heart, you know, Mio and Moebius. And the fact that, you know, that love, the love for Mio, and, you know, like, I am literally face to face with the hope that Mio left behind. And, like, he still chose, you know, hope and love and Mio. And, like, it's like, yes, that is the best compelling thing that I can think of. It's just, oh, I could not write it better myself. And hey, you know how I, in the last episode, mentioned that if you get overwhelmed with enemies, it's really easy to get overwhelmed? This is that, but way harder, because these enemies, they are, as you can see, there's a lot of them. We need to fight a lot of enemies, and we're going to be successful because we are extremely powerful. They're level 68, so if we hadn't boosted our level, we would be in severe trouble. Because I will say, if I hadn't given myself those extra 2 levels from the rest stop before I fought N that final time in the last episode, we would have lost. Because there were, even if my commentary didn't reflect it, I noticed several times where we were incredibly close to losing. Like, several times over the course of that. And we would have lost, unquestionably, if we hadn't had those extra 2 levels. So I don't regret that at all. It is very, very important, because like, even you saw how much damage N was doing, and that's just N. Not to say that N is, you know, weak, but I will say he is the least complicated of all of the potential bosses that we're going to have to be fighting. And I will say they only get tougher from here, so make no mistake. Make no mistake, the fighting going forward is going to be very difficult. But you may notice Noah has a new art. Harmonic Wave. For the most part, this entire game, since we've been able to draw Lucky Sevens, Tachyon Slash has been an attack all on its lonesome. It hasn't had, you know, a linked art with anything going forward, or in the past. It hasn't had anything like that. But now that we have successfully beaten and merged with N, we have gotten an art called Harmonic Wave. And Harmonic Wave is another AoE art where it has, you know, a chance for Pierce and for Wounded. So it is an incredibly powerful art. Now that Tachyon Slash has, you know, a paired art to go with it, it'll be really apparent once I can get that going in, like, a chain attack. I'll save it for there, but I'll talk more about that later in a bit.
Fuck's sake! There's no end to him!
Well, we are in the ringer here.
I had accounted for this, but these numbers...
I know, but it's the only way.
Right. The call shouldn't be too far now. Come on, hang in there.
Oh, good. Looks like we managed not to hit you.
Monica!
We've been trying to aim for the highest energy signatures. Score one for us.
Good call! You're not going back?
Well, you know, I got curious and wanted to see the face of our real enemy with my own eyes. So, here I am.
I thought I'd drop by, since the attacks wouldn't let up. And what do I see but you dags having a picnic? Gondor! The Queen?
We got her out safely. It's just us and Zed, our real enemy, finally.
Right on. Then you won't mind a little company.
What are you coming for?
What for? Well, you know. The head honcho's bigging it up in there, ain't he? I got curious. Gotta see the big bad with my own eyes, right? Huh? You want to clue me in on the joke?
Sorry. Deja vu. Or something like that.
Huh?
Thank you. Thanks to you. Now I can say definitively, there are things in this world we must protect.
Hell yeah, Monica and Gondor. They have officially joined the party, I think? I don't know whether or not they've, like, joined the party as, like, guests that will fight with us in battles, like some of them, or some companions have in the past. But either way, they're narratively in the party, and we will take that. We will take that. And there's a chest, apparently? Where?
Everyone's lending us their strength. It's all riding on us.
Yeah, that's obvious.
Up to their expectations, then.
Oh, and trust me, we absolutely will, Mio. No question about that. Anyway, Gilgamesh, anyone? Like, my goodness gracious, Monica, where the heck was that when you, like, needed to assault the castle? Or, you know, literally any other occasion. I feel like it's like, you could have brought that out in the past. It would have been really helpful. Man, this is so cool. Man, I really love the design of Origin. It's just so incredible. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. But these enemies, oh my god, they're level 69. The enemies will just keep getting tougher and tougher. Arms storage tower, upper area. Another rest spot. Like I said, they will be around when you need them, so if you're having trouble with the enemies, I will say, again, I cannot stress this enough. If you're having trouble with the general fodder that's just out and about around Origin, you definitely want to level up. I cannot stress that enough. It's incredibly important. Even if you don't want to, like, even just like 1 or 2 levels, like I said, low to mid 70s, depending on how confident you are with your fighting. I highly, highly, highly recommend low to mid 70s. Like, it's just, you have no idea how important 1 or 2 extra levels can be if you're having a tough time. So use these big guys as the measuring pole upon which you measure your strength. If you can beat these guys with relative ease, then you're good. But if you're having trouble with them, definitely consider leveling up. Oh, unique monsters. Oh, gotta love those unique monsters. I wonder, should I make the very first unique monster we fight be one of these dudes? No, I have a better idea. The Nova Drive. I'm not, bunches of items. I have no idea whether or not those items are going to be useful in the future or not. They might not. We'll have to see. Anyway, oh no, please don't. Oh, we have to fight you. Come on, Coria Flack. I will destroy you utterly. Here, turn off. Here, give me Unlimited Blade. Give it to me. I have been noticing, when it came, well, not really noticing, but as like a general feel, it really does feel like Lucky Sevens is a bit more powerful than I remember it being. And I'm not entirely sure if that's because of Mr. Salmon's upgrades, but it does feel more powerful. And I'll leave that there, because if I remember correctly, we're at like the defense, like tower defense 1 or defense tower, like the first defense tower. And if I remember my first playthrough correctly, what's through this door is another encounter. Yep, defense tower 2. Let's do this.
Look at all you roaches scurrying out of the woodwork. You've got some guts. Ouroboros.
X.
You want Zed, right? Well, you can't have him.
You still think you're calling the shots here? I'll prove you wrong, once and for all.
Right into a fight with the level 70 Moebius X. One final fight with you and your giant scythe. Moebius X is a very powerful foe. I know I said that against N as well, but of the Moebiuses that we're fighting, X, that's her name. She has very difficult to deal with arts if you're not careful. But before that, though, we will start with her resistances, because that is important knowledge to have. Let's go with, oh, we got the break. We got 2 breaks so quickly. That's pretty nice. If we can get, Actually, no, I'm not going to worry about that. Let's just go for Unlimited Sword. Right, okay. She has an 85% resistance towards break, so it's pretty, honestly, impressive that we have been getting them so frequently. I'm not going to worry about that, though. Let's get back in there. Front attacks with the Tachyon slashes. Just get all of that damage as much as we can, because that's for the best. She has a 90% resistance to knockback and blowdown, a 50% resistance towards physical debuffs. So again, you want to focus on the physical. You want to focus on the physical, not the ether. She is actually immune to ether debuffs. So again, go for physical. But her actual arts, as you can tell by the fact that we have residual damage on everyone, her residual arts are very difficult to work with. Oh, she's targeting Noah, isn't she? Go for Final Lucky Sevens. Got the break, got the topple, got the launch. Nice, powerful smash. Really powerful. Show me an art. Discerning Eye. All right, Discerning Eye. Oh, right. Okay, this is Crazed Head-On. You know what? Let's go for... Oh, Noah's down. Oh, I was about to say go for a chain attack. Unimportant. Anyway, lots of moves. The first one, Discerning Eye. That is a debuff art, which will inflict ether and physical defense down. So she will lower your defenses if she's using Discerning Eye. The next one that she used in that little gambit... Oh, we need to heal. Yeah, or a chain attack. The next one that she used was one called Crazed Headhunt, and that was the one that took down Noah pretty much instantaneously. It is a single target move. Go for Cross Impact. Crazed Headhunt. It's a single target move that has a decent enough chance of instantly killing your party members by inflicting the Doom debuff, which is exactly what happened to Noah. The Doom debuff is instant death, and normally you've probably only ever been exposed to that from Noah's Lucky Sevens on occasion. So Moebius X also has that ability, and it is a very potent ability indeed. Instant death for your people is not something to sneeze at, no matter what the situation is. And then, what else did she show? She showed off Reaper's Pain. Reaper's Pain is a frontward-facing AoE move, so everyone and everything in front of her... Why did that not work? Go for Masha. Just do Area Hail. Reaper's Pain, frontward-facing AoE that does moderate damage. It's not the most powerful art, not nearly as powerful as Headhunt. Headhunt, if it doesn't inflict Doom, I will say, it does very high damage. It's probably... even without the Doom, her most damaging art, bar none. So definitely be aware of that. It's something to be aware of. Go for Cross Impact, I guess. Keep doing all of that high damage. And then another one you may have seen over the course of this, her most common art, I do believe, is one called Trick Balloon. And Trick Balloon is another frontward-facing AoE. So if you're standing in front of her, be aware. Oh, why did Masha have to be the one to come back? Use Noah. It's fine. Wow, I have 3. Just go for Masha again. We can do some healing, I suppose. That's fine. Go for Mio. Go for Hornet and Blessed Edge. I want that healing. Nice. Everyone's back to full, which is good. And then do Uni. Does anyone have a launch? Senna has a launch. Ooh, do we want... Oh, you know what? Senna, go for the launch and Uni can get the smash. And then that'll pick up this particular chain attack. Anyway, Trick Balloon. Finish talking about that. Go for the smash and then we're good. If it does... Each balloon will do moderate damage, so it can technically do a lot of damage if you're like right in the middle of all of the balloons. I think it's like 4 or 5 balloons, depending on where you are. If you're right in the middle, it's like 4 or 5. It could be potentially a lot of damage. But aside from that, it will also inflict the Shackle Block debuff as well as inflict the Bleed, which is why so many of the characters have had Bleed inflicted on them. Go for another break. Just go straight for Noah. It's resistant, but that's fine. Anyway, she also has one more art that I don't remember her showing, but it's one called a Vengeful Judge. It's a single target move that is a multi-hit move as well. She'll only target one person, but she'll hit them multiple times, and depending on how many times those attacks connect, it will deal a lot of damage. If it's all of the attacks hit, then it's on the level of Crazed Headhunt. So hopefully we can kill her before that. But anyway, Reaper's Pain, that's another high damage one. Oh, definitely want to avoid that. Give me that power charge. Go for burst. Crazed Headhunt. Oh, who are you targeting? Oh, yep, Doom on Uni. Instant death. Very, very scary. She's targeting Noah. Go for Ouroboros Form, please. Go for that break. Definitely want to break her if we can. Go for the smash as well. Just go as much damage as possible. She's dead. Fantastic. Defeated. We don't even get a cutscene, but that's fine. She is gone. Moebius X, without even a cutscene to her name, has been defeated. I will say, tiny little detail, or an interesting story. In my original playthrough, I experienced a glitch at this particular stage of the game. Instead of despawning, like, you know, into the motes of light as Moebius is wont to do when they die, her model, like her actual in-game model of X as an Ouroboros, just stayed there, like indefinitely. She was locked in that, like, reaching to the sky, leaning on her scythe animation. And she just stayed there. She didn't disappear at all. She was just, like, stuck. It was crazy. I really wish I had, like, the foreknowledge or even the ability to record that back then, but I didn't have the option. Or, well, yeah, they are.
But they're never gonna beat us.
Not the option, because I could have taken a picture or video with the Switch itself, but I just didn't think of it at the time because I never did that. I really wish I could show that. If anyone at home has had that same glitch or has, you know, any kind of experience with that in this particular stage, I'd love to like be like, am I crazy or am I not crazy? Because that, you know, it's interesting. It's very interesting that, you know, like, throughout this entire game, that's like the only notable glitch that I ever saw at all. Throughout this entire game, it never glitched out at all, except for that, which I think is, you know, the mark of a really well-made, polished game. Xenoblade 3, pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm not worrying about the shards anymore. Anyway, Defense Tower 3. If you were there for, you know, that fight against X, you might be like, that was Defense Tower 2 and we fought X. In Defense Tower 3, are we gonna? And you'll be like, we probably will. We will. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Is this another rest spot? I believe it is.
This is our first time here, isn't it?
It is another rest spot. No, wait. It's not a rest spot. It's just another location that you can skip travel to. I will say, having an abundance of skip travel points all over Origin is very helpful, especially if you're in the mind to leave and then come back, because exploration could be a doozy. This is a very big place after all. We're not going to focus on that right now because we need to get into that door. And I wonder if we can get into that door without fighting anything. No, we cannot. So we need to fight these level 69 Uruno Kananaus. I don't expect them to be in any way, shape, or form difficult. Let's get back behind them, get this back attack going, get lucky 7s, and then finish this fight really quickly. I will say, of these final 3 episodes, this one I expect to be the shortest because, well, I needed to break up the flow of the story, I will say. Not to say that nothing's going to happen in this one, because things are going to happen in this one. We're fighting. We've already fought Moebius X and killed them. Yeah, it is our path to the future, but don't worry about that. We're not talking about that right now. We'll save that. We'll save the giant heroic monologue for when we fight Zed. But anyway, this is probably going to be the shortest one, but no worries about that because there's no shortage of interesting things. And would you look at that? Oh my gosh, look who it is.
Never stop discovering.
Why?
Warm welcomes to you, Ouroboros. Long have I waited.
Mimi. We'll end it here.
Welcome truth of this.
Straight into the fight. Level 70, Moebius Y. Moebius Y is significantly bulkier and tougher compared to someone like Moebius X. Moebius X had a lot of high damaged arts, but Y has quite the arsenal themselves. They have a 90% resistance to break, which is, I think, the highest we've ever seen so far. Which is, oh, Glorious Typhoon. We need to get into those healing rings. Glorious Typhoon, before we get to the rest of the resistances. Glorious Typhoon is an AoE all around him, and it has a very big reach. And it can do, it does moderate damage, but it inflicts bleed, so that is the real killer. If you have a way of getting rid of bleed, you definitely want to take advantage of that. You really, really have to. Let's go for the final Lucky Sevens. Get the break, the topple, the launch, and the smash. Or someone else got the smash, but that's no big deal. Go for this. Oh, I probably want to get the chain attack with Lucky Sevens. Oh, we're very close to it. Yeah, go for... Oh, Impact Quake. Oh, right, okay, good. Impact Quake. Impact Quake is a very terrifying one because while it is a single target... Go for Mio. Impact Quake. It's a single target move that does moderate damage, but the kicker with that one is it inflicts a topple instantaneously. So you can see it brought Noah down from essentially full health down to 537. So it does a lot of damage and inflicts topple. So I'm very glad we got the chain attack going right there at the beginning, because otherwise it would be, we would be in a much worse position. Tyon, go for topple, I suppose. Just do a lot of damage. Anyway, back to the resistances. You might remember me saying that Moebius Y is incredibly bulky. That is very true because he has an immunity to knockback, blowdown, and physical debuffs. And he has an 85% resistance towards ether debuffs. So it's not even like only a 50% resistance towards those debuffs. It's full on 85%. That is a lot of defense. So if you're going to go for anything, now is your time for your ether-based debuffs. Only on Y, because everyone else has seemingly been either immune or extremely resistant. And Moebius Y is no different in that regard. Go for... Ooh, who do we want to go for? Go for... no one needs healing, so go for Mio. Mio can take care of it, and then Uni can handle the rest, I suppose. Uni, go for Taunt. Because Uni is a defender, so if we can draw the aggro onto Uni, that would be for the best. Anyway, the other arts that Moebius Y has. You might have seen in the beginning of the fight, he used something called Tyrant's Shout Spark. This is a rather unique move, because in the grand scheme of things, it has 3 different versions of itself. Go for Demolition. It has Tyrant Shout Spark, Glimmer, and a Shine. And each one of those is the progressively more potent and powerful version. Lands. Use Shockwave, I guess. It's fine. That's fine. That art, Tyrant's Shout at every level, increases his resistances by increasing amounts. So Spark is a little increase to resistances, and Glimmer is moderate, and Shine is a major, well, not a major, but it's a pretty sizable chunk of resistance. Go for Demolition again. As much damage as possible, please, Tyon. But right, yeah, that one, Tyrant Shout upgrades his resistances, like his ether and break resistance specifically. Oh, how much damage is Noah going to be doing? A rather sizable chunk. And can we also get... Oh, Lands is the one who comes back. That's pretty good. And then everyone else is the one who comes back. Very nice. Noah, can you do Tachyon Slash but not bring us up over 80? Right. Now that we've added Harmonic Wave, that was a rather good example of this. Now that we've added Harmonic Wave, after the multi-hit attack that is Tachyon Slash, Moebius Y is talking, but he's just, you're gonna die, nonsense. Anyway, after the multi-hit damage that is Tachyon Slash, Harmonic Wave will add a very powerful 3-hit move all at once at the end of it. So it is really, really good in chain attacks if you can build up Noah in Lucky 7 form. So I highly recommend doing that. Tachyon Slash and Harmonic Wave, very powerful, potent combo. Anyway, Body Trap, that's another one of his arts. We've seen him use that before in Colony Omega. It's a single target move where he, grapples you and then throws you away. So that inflicts blowdown. Very powerful art. Very, very powerful. Something to be aware of. Oh, now he's doing Tyrant Shout Glimmer, and his resistances are through the roof at this point. Go for more Tachyon Slashes. What other moves are you going to be using? Go for Dimension Ripper. We only have 17 seconds. Oh, let's just go for Interlink. No, Interlink. We have 10 seconds on this. Can we get Origin Blade in the time? Oh, we got the break and the topple. That's pretty nice. Can we get... Oh, we might be able to get Origin Blade. Let's go for Origin Blade. Go for Origin Blade, people. Do it. Do it. Do it. Origin Blade. Hopefully this one will actually hit. Oh, that is a lot of damage. Reduce all. Oh, that is a universal stat decrease, which is really nice. And again, not even a single cutscene, but they don't even deserve cutscenes because they are not challenging at all. With a little bit of planning, you too can beat Moebius X and Y relatively easily. Central Sector Passage. Oh, we're down by the cubes.
Anytime soon. Uni, are you feeling all right?
I'm fine, innit? You haven't chipped a nail or anything, have you?
Certainly not. Tyon would never. Oh, right. That down there. That is the nucleus that Melia was talking about, and that's where we're going. Through the field of all of these core crystals, perhaps? They certainly look like core crystals. But anyway, one final note about Moebius Y, in case you're curious. He does have an art called Moebius Dominion Defenders, which shackles defenders. So if he uses that, it might be in your best interest to shift your party and change characters to your defenders so you can free them from that. But aside from that, Moebius Y is bulkier than Moebius X, but not as hard-hitting, I will say. So that is that. Only one thing left to do with the defeat of those two Moebius. All that's left is to go down to the nucleus. So let's do exactly that. Everything has been leading to this. This is the penultimate elevator ride where we can finally lead the assault on Moebius Z. But unfortunately, that's going to have to wait until the next episode. Like I said, this is going to be a significantly shorter one compared to the first and the finale. So of the three, it's going to be the shortest. But I did need to break up the pacing, unfortunately, between the first and the last. So that is going to be it for this episode of the 3-part finale of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So whether you watched it for 30 seconds or the entire thing, thank you so much for tuning in. And I will see you next time for the grand finale of the main story of a Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Later.